So we are going to play this kind of a grid game. So it is a 2D grid, but there are only 2 rows and there will be many columns. So the grid gonna be like, yeah, let me make a better drawing. So the grid gonna be like this, yeah. And there gonna be 2 rounds. The first round is for player A. So this player A gonna try to go from the right and bottom. So this player can only go to right or bottom. But for this player, definitely this player can choose one path. So the path gonna be like this. Yeah. So after this round, this player will set all those areas to be 0 and all those areas to be 0. So for player B, B wanted to go through the path, but B wanted to collect the points as big as possible. Yeah, because all those points have already set to be 0, and those points may be 5, 2, 1, 3, 4, 1. Yeah, maybe this is a possible path. So this means that this player can choose to go from like 5 to 1 and go to the bottom. So this is one possible path. So the player can go like this, from here and go to here. And in this way, the player gonna collect 8 points. And there's also another way. Maybe the player will go from here and go down. And in this way, the player also collect 8 points. Maybe this is a 2, so the player collects 9 points. So we're gonna return 9 because this player wanted to collect the points as big as possible. So it's gonna always choose the maximum points. So this is for player B. But for player A, A wanted to let the player B get a score as smaller as possible. Yeah. Now let's just go back to the problem. So how many different ways of A and B? And we can enumerate the different ways. So definitely, according to the rules, A can only go to the right and go down. So it means there is always a vertical bar like that. This means A have to go from here to here. Maybe this one or maybe that one, we are not sure. This means we're gonna enumerate all the vertical bars and compare which areas is bigger. If we have a vertical bar from here, it means definitely A will go from here, go down, and go to the right like that. And then for the player B, we're gonna check the sum of these areas. Maybe this is 10, and we're gonna check the sum of these areas. Maybe this is 8. So finally, we're gonna choose the maximum. It's gonna be 10. Yeah. So this is just one of the possible solutions. And then maybe the player will go not like that. Maybe go in another way. Yeah. Maybe go from here to and then here. This is another way. Yeah. So it means there are so many ways, but definitely we're gonna choose the maximum of these areas and these areas. So we're gonna choose the maximum of these areas. So this area at the bottom is gonna be sum of the numbers of these areas, and for the top, it's also the sum of the numbers of the top areas. So in this way, definitely we can solve the problem. Yeah. Maybe you think, so what about I can choose to go another way? Yes, you can. Maybe you can go like this. Go to here, and go here, and go here. But this is not the maximum. For player B, always want to choose the maximum, because only in this area, for the player B, can get some numbers. But for player B, B want to collect as big as possible. Definitely, B wanted to choose from the whole areas. Yeah. So this is also the greedy idea. So for the problem, basically we're gonna use the prefix sum to solve the problems. So in this area, it is the prefix sum, and this is also the prefix sum, and we're gonna choose the maximum of the 2. Yeah. Maximum of this one and this one. If you understand the problem like this, basically you can solve the problem. Yeah. So the idea is that we are giving only a 2D grid. There are only 2 rows. Definitely there is a vertical bar, and we can enumerate all the vertical bars, and we can use the prefix sum to check the result. Yeah. Now let's try to solve it. I'm gonna prepare a prefix sum. It's gonna be a 2D array, and currently it's a I will initialize as an empty array, and then I'm gonna check the row inside the grid. So for each row inside the grid, my prefix sum gonna append a prefix sum. So inside it's gonna be a list accumulate this row, and with initial set to be 0. Yeah. Now I have a prefix sum of 2D array. So I have 2 rows. So the first row it is the prefix sum of the first row inside the grid, and the second row is the second row for this grid. Yeah. Now I'm gonna enumerate all the vertical bars as I said earlier. So for I in range 1 to length of the prefix 0, I'm gonna check all the columns from the column 1, and I'm gonna prepare a final result. It's gonna be infinity because I want to choose the minimum. So the result, I'm gonna be minimum of enumerate all possible solutions. Yeah, it's gonna be the minimum of the result. Yeah, but for the prefix sum, no matter which areas, or these areas, I'm gonna choose the maximum. So it's gonna be the maximum of. So at the top areas, it's gonna be the prefix of first row. It's gonna be 0, and at the end it's gonna be -1 and minus prefix sum of 0. And here, for example, if this is I, definitely I'm gonna use the prefix 0 minus 1 minus the prefix 0I. It means at this position. Yeah. And I need to choose another one. So another one gonna be the prefix 1 with I minus 1. This means the prefix. So if this is my current vertical bar, so this is my top areas. At the bottom, I'm gonna choose this one. It means prefix 1, the bottom row with I minus 1. It means this areas it is 1. So the maximum of 1 and 4 is gonna be 4, and the minimum of the result it's gonna be the final result gonna be 4. Yeah. Now let's return the result. So this is to enumerate all the possible cases. So this is just one possible case. We may enumerate this vertical bar or this vertical bar. Definitely we're gonna enumerate all the vertical bars to get the final result. Yeah. Now let me run it to check if it works. As you can see, it works. Now let's analyze a little bit about the time complexity. As n is 10 to the power of 4, so here we did a prefix sum. This is 10 to the power of 4. This is okay. Here is another 10 to the power of 4. This is okay. So the final time complexity gonna be O(n). Now let me submit it to check if it works. As you can see, it works and it's pretty fast. Thank you for watching. See you next time.